This board is an example of proto-writing. Kind of. People who can read this are still alive, albeit few in numbers. Each of these characters does not represent a sound like a normal Roman alphabet, nor does it work the same way as a Chinese character. Each character is more like a landmark, something to help with remembering events. Anyways, this is what this board says. All of the translation was obtained from this paper. Here goes. 1. An old house site is overgrown with rambai trees, their flowers hanging like fan palms. An old house site is overgrown with durian trees, their fruits hanging like gongs. An old house site is overgrown with isu durians, the fruits like bachelor pigtail monkeys hanging upside down. An old house site is overgrown with mangosteen, the fruits like shamans' magical boxes. Last year's paddy fields, but the unripe ears of paddy bangang are still to be seen. When the corner of a fence is reached, a gentle voice is heard, praising the trap for pigs and deers. This is a new paddy field. Scattered logs and tree stumps are still around. A lowland is overgrown with umpili trees. The branches bend rather low because of the weight of the strange fruit. Here the tall and handsome bachelors trap white-spotted boars. An abandoned paddy field serves as hunting grounds for hunters to net deer and take their crooked antlers. A hill covered with lembak palms. I feel reluctant to leave this small hill, so thickly grown with palms, because it is the familiar place where we collected the good leaves for making blankets with special designs. A long range of low hills is covered by engkrabai fruits, hanging from the branches. An engkalak burong tree sways but is reluctant to die. The bark at the middle of the trunk had been cut away by my mother and I. This is Layang Ketupong Hill, whose peak appears as if it would pierce the dome of the sky. The ridge of the hill is planted with layang bamboo, which sounds like a flute playing. Whose country is this? This is the country of young semalau birds, which chirps all day from morning until dusk. Here is a thick clump of engkalat bamboo. Whose country is this? This country is occupied by partridges, who talks with strange noises, murmuring but slowly. They wear velvet coats because they are glad about the forthcoming harvest, when they expect to be pleasingly irritated by the itching pollen. The tough, dandy roots grow and press on each other. Look to the left. See the view of an old hut. Whose country is this? This is the country of the cuckoo doves, whose echoing voices keenly praise the stalks of the job steer. The foot of an untili lucky tree is brushed by the legs of a clever maiden and those of a spoiled bachelor boy. So she is unable to marry him while he marries but is often divorced. A poorly grown bamboo stem that merrily shed its skin. Whose country is this? This is the country of the hoop-uppy birds, bachelors who wear charcoal chains around their necks. The stem of the unsurai ranging tree is growing at the end of a bridge. Whose country is this? This country belongs to the partridges. They're called sering-sering, like the sound of a doorbell tinkling. The trunk of a dabayuntai tree sounds like the loving chants of the singer. Broken pieces of white stone are piling one upon the other. This is the country of the lesser gods, keeper of the money boxes. reaching the red earth which shines brightly on one's back, the yellow earth which shines on the boiling glutinous rice. A white lowland, wherein grow bonsai durian trees, which flower in the evening and drop their petals at the morning. This is the foot of an unsunut tree, sounding like bees in a large hive. A lowland, as big as a winnow, made from senggang mud, Bujang Agang Gemurai, lives here. A stem of pisang unai is planted in the evening. In the morning, the bunches are ready to be cut. The ridge of Deer Antler Hill is sliced in the evening, but in the morning the horn comes forth again, yapping. A small hill is overgrown with thick ferns. The plants grow very closely together and cluster thick like a paddy bean. The edge of the lalang grass is red as if with the blood of a speared barking deer. The edge of the grass has been cut like the cropped hair of a bachelor. Tambit Slabit Hill looks as if encircled by glowing embers. This is the country of Ensingjara, with sharp eyes to look after the spurs of the victorious cocks. The single peak looks very strange, being planted with aurduri bamboo. It looks like the elbow of a metal cock spur. At the foot is a sandy beach, surrounded by the Rangchi stream. To bathe here is forbidden. The offender will suffer white spots on the skin. Here is a hill with two peaks. It looks very strange, with flowers from Jampulipa. At the foot of the hill is a sandy beach, surrounded by rivers from several mouths. Here the maidens often loose their skirts. Here is a hill with three peaks. It looks very strange, with Sempurai Gundai's footprints. He is searching for the goddess Kumang. At the foot of the hill is a sandy beach surrounded by the Alai lakes, where those from the other worlds net prawns with pincers big enough to make omelets for still growing bachelors. The hill with four peaks is rich. It flashes like lightning in the dusk. At the foot of the hill is a sandy beach surrounded by waters from the Anap stream, thickly overgrown with crisscross roots. The hill with five peaks is rich. It gives out a loud noise, as if from a dancing song. At the foot of the hill is a sandy beach surrounded by marshy ground, where those long dead search for big tortoises, whose shell can be used by the lying bachelors as their paddy bean lids. The hill with six peaks is rich. It is full of fan palms, whose fronds shelter anyone from the rain. At the foot of the hill is a sandy beach surrounded by the Bulan River. Here lives the lost shark and whale, both with beautiful golden whiskers. The hill with seven peaks is rich. There are plenty of areca palms with fruits lying close to the trunk. At the foot of the hill is a sandy beach, flooded by the overflow of the sacred wine, Jalong Timang. The hill with eight peaks is rich, and so also the top of Gunung Semilang. Gunung Semilang roars noisily like wood bellows with vertical cylinders. At the foot of the hill is a sandy beach, surrounded by waters coming from the Bulan River. The lower stretch of the river is studded with crystals, the upper stretch overgrown with overhanging branches of Ensurai. The peak of Rabong Manang, forever loaded by medicine men, is rich. Here we must not make any noise nor linger. This is the abode of Holy Kliong. He does nothing but hang out woven blankets on a line, and forge iron edges for ceremonial use when he slashes the tops of nibong palms, and reads signs from the hearts of flowering areca palms. The top of Sagut Sentubong Hill is rich. At the foot of the hill is a sandy beach, surrounded by the Ilang Ilong stream, where Ini Inong looks for snails as big as rintong baskets. These baskets are used by bachelors to lower the honeycombs from the tapang trees. A vast, luxuriant forest with not even the call of bachelors' monkeys. The forest is lonely, no human sound is heard. An orchard of durian lusing comes into view. It is true that this is thinly fleshed, but when the flesh is gathered, it can fill up a panding jar. An orchard of durian lunak comes into view. It is sure that the fruit is fleshy, but the other side of each seed is fleshless. Here is the stem of the god. One of its branches spreading towards the land of the living touches the halo of the full moon. Another branch spreads out to the country of the people who died first of all, while living at the mouth of Temaga Galang. At the door of badly made of many dry leaves. At the door of made of roots as big as a house post. At the door made of ordinary earth, then the door of foul-smelling earth, then the door of red earth, and finally the door of tough earth, all looked after by the maiden Endu Iya, who wears a necklace of letang. She is Endu Tradu Benang Redam. Arriving at the ridge confronted by kemunting umang trees. At a marshy place, Trumpa Trumpang Gelang, abode of the light-hearted bachelor Bujang Lempong, he who never observed the omen birds which perch on the top of the housepost where the braves and the headless warriors go. A bunch of renyai palms, making a gentle murmur, whispering the name of lovers. The lower branches sway, almost touching the ground. Looking downriver, one sees the dam for a fish traps, Buba. Looking upriver, the barricades for fish trap, Nsengga. This country is occupied by those who died from drowning, as marked by a small piece of a southern log. Brittle, rocky boulders are brushed by the tails of visiting tigers. In this country dwell those killed by crocodiles. The presence of Panggil Upang flowers is the sign. Then an unused platform is passed. This is the country of those who died from hunting accident, marked by a heap of ashes of burnt charms and foods, to make the dogs fiercer and braver. A small hill swarming with barbary flies, which makes a noise as if out of breath. In this country are people who died of wounds shown by the spathe of betel-nut palm. A vast field of wild rubber trees, which make noises as if shouting at each other. In this country are people who died from starvation after losing their way in the forest. A lowland covered with ampili trees, where the spoiled tall bachelors trap white-spotted wild boars. This shows they were foolish in having forgotten their own warning marks. A small island thickly covered with kubal arang creepers. This country belongs to people who drink tuba fluid and die. It is recognized by creepers hanging everywhere. The top of a big crooked creeper where gibbons sleep. The ridge of crooked manding trees are gripped by gemirang vines. In this country live those who fell from trees and died, as marked by a heap of rope. A shallow valley looks like a lalayang plate. This country belongs to the people who died from eating poisonous mushroom of the kind like the tongue of a striped kendawang snake. A mountain slope covered with sweet-smelling lukai trees, and a rich dance with the kalong, sounding like the beating of bark. This land is occupied by women who died in childbirth and can be recognized by the many pieces of broken hearth. A lowland overgrown with reeds. The sounds like striking one's hand on the mouth of the charming bottle. This is the country of men and women who died young. The base of an orphan kemunting tree. The fruits are like red balls which decorate the scabbard of a sword. A white plant is planted with lovely flowers by the maiden Lenggunai. The stems are so clean that not even a piece of the shaman Matai's magical war charm can be seen. The roots are of metal wires, their buttress sharp blades easily wounding the unwary. The outer bark is soft like an ampang belulai blanket. The straight trunk is capped with pieces of gold. The branches are made of large cannons and the twigs are whispering juice harp. The luxuriant foliage is dark as black calico. The shoots touch the backside of Aki Unggok, who sits upon the bright moon, plaiting his hair while he makes a fishing basket, pemansai. At the foot of thick banyan trees, the highest branches are perched on by sandflies as big as the munias, who consume the grains of padi bangang. Other high branches are perched on by mosquitoes as big as the doves, their throats spotted below the edge of the beak. The watering place of the dead can be used for diving. He jumped into the water and his leg stepped on a cross boulder which he then held with his hand. This you take back to the country for your pencelap charm, which I have sliced from the white gemurai fruit. Step up the cut-knotted ladder. Hands holding the upside-down bamboo rails, a communal veranda is reached, decorated with Sanajawa mats whose sides have been beautifully plated. Go into this fine family room crowded with jars showing swallows in flight. Up a strong ladder with its grounded end buried below the stem of our tulang bamboos. Going up a ladder made of ruan woods, one end buried below the stump of a limau rangan tree with thorns as white as fine shell armlets. And that's the story told by this board, filled with 64 symbols. Okay, bye.